If you've been frustrated playing Penny, or if you're wanting to start playing Penny with the new Season 2 changes, stick with me in this quick guide and I'll show you some tips I've learned in my time playing Penny. But before we get into that, I wanted to take some time to show my stats profile as Penny. As you can see, I have almost 50 hours time played, so I've definitely put in the work in understanding an effective way and playing Penny. So without much ado, let's get right into the guide. So the goal of this guide will be to help anyone in playing a more effective Penny, because Penny does have different playstyles, and I believe her kit isn't as streamlined as some of the other tanks out there. Like, let's say
Whoever they
Thor,
are,
who
they
you
don't
really
look
kind of just,
friendly.
want to go into Rune Awakening as much as possible. When playing a Penny, it can be hard to understand what you want to prioritize. So I'm going to go into that, and maybe that will help you with starting your more effective Penny career, because I know it can be frustrating. So how I start my games when playing Penny is I want to get out my nest as quick as possible in the safest area that will allow the nest to be up for as long as possible, as well as the most effective placement for me to build a trail that will constantly be dealing damage to the enemy team or cut off key areas for the enemy team. So how you want to go about building the trail is you see these points here on the end of the webs for her nest.
Here comes trouble.
You want to start by taking your first webs and just building an effective trail. As you see here, all these spiders here, they kind of sit around for the most part until something is close to your nest. But the way to extend that is by building this trail here that will constantly track enemies that are located on the trail. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put the other web here. As you see,
Spiders get the job
as I
done.
put that web here,
Spider
all
for the
those
win.
spiders were immediately ready to start tracking, and they constantly track.
Double
Any
kill.
enemies that are walking on this trail will be tracked by these spiders. And as you see,
You never stood a
they
chance.
track for as long as there's an enemy there.
My trap
They
worked.
will stop in place, so you
Whoever they
can't
are,
stack
they don't
the
look
spiders.
friendly.
So see, I have kind of 3 spiders
for the
stacked
win.
now. So on top of whatever's going to be pumped out of here,
6 in a row.
you'll be dealing off a lot of damage.
My trap worked.
That's really the basic mechanic
You
of
never stood a
playing Penny
chance.
when it comes down to getting her kid out effectively. A lot of people don't build trails, and so I wanted to make just a quick guide on doing this. This is just a really basic but effective way in playing Penny. As well as when you're along these trails, this will extend your reach of what you can tank, because you're constantly healing as well as building shield and movement
Whoever
speed
they are,
along
they
these
don't
trails.
look friendly.
So if you're having a hard time with pushing up as Penny as a tank, let's say you feel like you can't really be in front of the other tanks, it's harder for you to keep up with them, this is an effective way to do it. It's building your trail in key areas that will keep you and your spiders in the line of the enemy. So this is just me wanting to showcase what happens when you do effectively place your trail. As you can see, I'm able to instantly kill that cloak and dagger out of her ult. I'm instant killing the Spider-Man after I'm able to stun him on my trail. And then the Jeff comes along and he's insta killed as well because he swallowed us on my trail. So this is definitely an effective method in using Penny's kit that allows you to get a lot of damage off quickly. With that being said, I want to go over a few maps and areas I found it best to place Penny's nest that keeps it alive the longest, as well as dealing the most damage. So here we're on the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda Hall of Dajala Convergence map. That's a lot to say. And so in this area here, there's going to be right behind the Basque wall, the wall where they go and start pushing the Basque. There's a corner here in the entryway where you can place a nest. It's behind a wall, so it gives you cover. They have to actually somebody has to actually either sneak in through this way and go behind, or they will just have to really fight their way through and then even then go back and start shooting at the nest. And this gives you versatility because the nest usually spawns like through half of the area you're defending. So you're able to either build a trail this way or build a trail this way. And so that's what makes it really effective because it gives you that versatility to switch. Because usually the enemy, when they notice that the trail that you have out is dealing a lot of damage and keeping them from like pushing, really having a hard push, they'll try to spin around. But what you can do is just easily while they're doing that is transition your nest and start building your trail along this way. So that's one map here. So here we're gonna have another convergence map. This is gonna be on the Spider-Man Tokyo 2099 map here, Shin Shibuya. I have found when I have placed the nest. Let me get into markup. Hold up. I have found when I place the nest here, kind of behind this, there's a little wall here. You'll see, and your nest can go like right here, either in this corner here or along this wall here, just somewhere like right along this wall. It will spread out kind of this way, right? And this is good because usually your healers, when you're on the defense, they'll be here in this corner. They'll be here. You may have a Loki or something that goes up here, like something like that. But for the most part, if you have like a Luna or a Invis, they'll go here. They'll be sitting here because this gives them the most line of sight to help people with keeping the hold here. So what you'll do is you'll build your trail out this way, right? And they'll usually end like right here. But this is really good because this is basically where the tanks are. This is where their push starts. It's like right here. So they'll have to fight through your nest, fight through you, fight through everybody. It's a really good hold, and this is I have found at least to be the best place to build my trail and have the most effective damage. I've even then like Cloak and Dagger, she'll usually alt like right here. Cloak and Dagger will usually start her alt like this, right? And then she'll go around or something like that. And so if she goes along the trail, she's dead. So that's how you really kind of get insta kills on the Cloak and Daggers that I've shown, because they're going to alt along here. They're like it's almost most Cloak and Daggers. It's just probably a mental thing. I don't know, but they'll alt just like this. They'll alt just like this on this line. So that's gonna be for the Tokyo 2099 map. I can't speak. Okay, so the last map I'm going to show here is the Empire of Eternal Night Central Park map. And this is a map I do really like for Penny because you're able to get a really good hold here. I've had it where people haven't even touched this point. Like, this is a really tight point to get. And their hold is the trail that you have here. So you'll place your nest like behind this wall here, right? But like not like all the way back, but like behind this wall for the most part, so that enough of your trail builds out this way. So for the most part, when you spawn your nest, the trail is gonna go like this, or not the trail, but the when you spawn your nest, just the what it spawns, it's gonna end here, and then you're able to trail kind of all the way out, and it's really hard for them to push. So I found that to be the best place to place your nest here on the Empire of Eternal Night Central Park map, just for those who are wanting a little bit of help with understanding nest placement and building a trail. I know it's for some people it is new. A lot of players focus on mine placement with Penny and like trying to get, you know, cool mine plays, which that's fine, but that's not really practical and that's not going to happen most of the time. Most of the time, especially in really high ranks, people Penny's voice lines are really loud. You know, the mine placement, she says mine's in place and all that stuff. It sounds really loud for them. So they're gonna know that you're out there doing that. And any high level player, anybody like with a brain cell even was gonna be like, hey, Penny's just pasted some mines out there. So everyone be careful. So it's best to really build your trail, place your mines along your trail, and just annihilate them. I'm telling you, that's going to get you so much more damage off than wasting your time trying to hurry along to the spawn point where they're at and get your web out and then place mines and then you have to like rush all the way back. That's really not an effective way to play Penny. Like, yeah, like it could be fun if it works, but it's really only going to work on like new players or like low level players or like, you know, it's just not going to be an everyday thing. It's not going to be a regular thing that's actually going to help you be effective and climb in the ranks as Penny. Okay, and with
Here
all
comes
that being
trouble.
said, I want to thank you guys for checking out my guide on playing Penny. I will definitely be making more videos, ranked gameplay videos, as well as guides, especially with the new season 2 changes with her having more health, as well as being able to crit, which is so impactful. I feel it's going to be so impactful for Penny. If you did like today's guide, please go ahead and give it a like for me. It does help, as well as subscribe if you want to check out some more of my gameplay video that will be to come. And without taking up too much more of your time, God, I can't speak. My name is Floater, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.